as an avid GPT-5 hater, I'm a hater. I hate it. I hate GPT-5. I'm so happy that Google decided to just randomly drop Gemini 3. I don't know what that was. I think I was expecting Nano Banana 2. I think everyone was expecting Nano Banana 2 sometime soon. And then all of a sudden it started popping up, hey, Gemini might be an add-on. You know, Gemini 3 might be a little add-on they drop as a little bonus. And then all of a sudden, Gemini 3 Pro just pops up in the AI Studio just some random morning. And it instantly became like the #1 benchmarked model on LM Arena. Go look, it's winning in basically every single category across the board. And so I wanted to see what Gemini was able to do with Gemini 3 Pro inside of AI Studio. It's not released like live on normal Gemini, I don't believe yet. But I wanted to see, hey, you know, what new functionalities does it have that people will actually be able to use? Of course, there's a bunch of new stuff like anti-gravity, but the average person isn't going to go in there and build and develop platforms and apps. And I will say, I've gone in and I've played with anti-gravity. It is really fucking cool. Really cool. And within about 45 minutes, I went from like 2 prompts to an app inside of Expo on my phone. And we can talk about that, but later. I want to go over actual real day-to-day human use cases of things that people are going to be able to do once Gemini 3 is released to the public. And so I'm going to minimize myself here a bit. I know that it's great when I'm big and beautiful. And I'm going to put myself off to the side. And we're just going to talk about what the first thing that I thought was really interesting when I was reading the documentation was that it said you can technically and essentially, I don't know why I'm using those words, it said you can send it videos and it can now watch those videos, interpret them, and then respond in whatever way you've queried it, right? So for this example, it's only on Gemini, it's only on AI Studio. I don't have it on my phone. I guess I could have sent a video, but I uploaded a YouTube video or a YouTube short. And in that YouTube short, this lady is going over her fridge, the ingredients in it, the items. She misses a few things. And I just asked it to watch the video of the kitchen. And then based on the ingredients that it sees in the fridge, plan 3 distinct snack recipes for the week. And they should, at least one should be under 20 minutes, and each recipe tell me the specific items from the video. And so what it did was it took the video, it spent like 40 seconds watching it, and I don't know how long the video itself is, but it spent like 40 seconds interpreting it, and then this is what it gave me. So it gave me an under 20-minute snack. So I don't know what ingredients were in this fridge. A savory doenjang veggie dip. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it took all of the items that were in there and then created a healthy snack. So, right, a celery and some kind of a dip of some sort that has mayo, green onion, this, and sesame oil. And then it gives you the instructions. And then there's a pork and tofu smashed dumplings. Again, the time to make it, what ingredients are in there, the instructions, how to make it, and then a spicy cilantro watermelon salad. That actually sounds boss. So, large container, cubed watermelon, cilantro, and then a Southeast Asian inspired snack. So, cilantro, Tabasco, fish sauce, red onion, and then all the directions. So it gave me 3 snacks. These aren't like crazy wild things, but also they don't seem crazy wild because it was just a video of the fridge and it gave exactly what was in it. So it is pretty cool. Me and a few guys were looking at it and someone was running an old concert video through it. It was able to find not only who was playing in it, but describe what they were wearing, what they were doing, what people in the crowd were doing. And actually, based on, I guess, the stage and the surroundings and the aerial view, it identified what exact concert it was, like the year, the day, where it was at the venue. And that was pretty crazy. And I guess I should have done that here because that was pretty cool. But you can play around with this. But this was one of the more exciting things because I think about it from a marketing perspective or from a sales perspective. You can upload a sales call recording and it can analyze it here. So if you don't have Loom or you don't have Fireflies or one of those platforms, you can use this. If you want to compare your VSL versus a competitor's VSL, well, you can upload both here, prompt it, and then it can watch both and give feedback. And we actually did some of that already. And it is really cool. I'll tell you, it's really impressive. Again, I'm an avid GPT-5 hater, and Gemini 3 smokes it every day of the week. Now, let's go on to the next example I had here. So Google is able to use, or Gemini is able to use Google very well. And so what I prompted it was, and I will say I went and found this prompt. I don't have 2 kids, but I said I have a 6-hour layover in Chicago with 2 kids. Find a kid-friendly activity outside of the airport, but achievable within this time window, and check if they're open on Tuesdays. And then create a minute-by-minute timeline starting at 10 a.m. and getting back to the gate by 3 p.m. so we don't miss our flight. And what it gave me was a response after thinking for probably like 30 seconds, not very long. And it said for a 6-hour flight at Chicago O'Hare with kids, the best and most stress-free option is Parkway Bank Park. Now, I don't know how far that is exactly. Does it say in here? It doesn't say exactly. So 2.5 miles, close. So the activities, that bowling, arcade games, lunch, dining and entertainment. It's indoors. It's kid-friendly. They have ramps, bumpers for bowling, and full lunch. Bowling could be fun. Open on Tuesdays. The fashion outlets have luggage storage, so it even found luggage storage. And then they built that into the timeline as where we should stop. So it goes through each one, and it does the 10 by 10, or the minute by minute. So it lands at 10, lands at O'Hare. By 10:40, you're departing. Then you travel to Rosemont. You drop your luggage off. You walk to the activity 5 to 10 minutes. You do your bowling, your lunch. They open at 11:30, so right on time. You head back at about 1:15 to your luggage. You pick your luggage up. You Uber back. You get there by 2, and then by 3, you're in security and back to the gate. And so it'll step by step. And now this is something we've been using ChatGPT 5, which ChatGPT 5 sucks, but really, I don't know why I use it, but it's what I use. It's sticky. It's fucking sticky. What can I say? So we use GPT to plan a trip recently that we're going on for Christmas. And it was extremely helpful in being able to just kind of like pack our itinerary full of things. You know, sometimes you go somewhere and when you're there for like over a week, which we'll be there about a week, you know, you kind of run out of things to do. Cities are only so big, but this found like all the minute, small local things for us to do. And I have a feeling that if we had Gemini 3 a week or 2 ago, we probably could have planned it even better. And maybe I'll even play around with this. So this was pretty cool to see because it was just extremely specific and it did not hallucinate at all. Did you realize that? There's no point of confusion. Like the interpretation, there's nothing wrong here where it like messes anything up. Now, if I went and asked this to GPT-5, I don't know, maybe it gets it. And maybe I'm just a hater. I am. But I don't think it would have done this well. So the third one is kind of like a bit of a math thing here. And what I asked it was, hey, I'm looking at houses. Here is the amount that I can afford. Here's what I make a month. Here's what I have in kind of debt. And here's what I spend per month to live. Now, current rates are 6.5%. I want you to give me a step-by-step calculation of all of the house-related expenses and then tell me how much wiggle room I have to see if I can afford it. Do I have a couple grand left, or do I have $100 left and I can't afford it? And so it thought for a little bit. And then what it came up with was a really good breakdown, actually. And so what it says is phase one, the monthly payment. And so it breaks down the actual house payment. So you have the principal and interest, so $2,400. You have property taxes, you have insurance, and then you have PMI. And all of that total is about $3,229 a month. And so then what are your actual hidden costs of the house? You have the utilities, so call it a couple $100, 300. You have a maintenance fund, a couple $100 in case, AC goes out or you need pest control to come or the pool guy, whatever it is, right? And then you have your wiggle room. And so this calculated the actual income kind of breakdown. I make $5,500 a month. My housing costs now would be $3,859 a month. Here's what my student loans cost a month. Here's what my groceries cost a month. And then my remaining is $641. And now some people would maybe do that, but I asked Gemini to be unbiased to me and kind of tell me black and white what it really is. And so what Gemini said was the verdict. It's high risk and we're house poor. It didn't care to be nice to us. We are house poor. No, you cannot safely afford this house. And here's the harsh reality. We'd be spending 70% of our net income just to keep a roof over our head. And financial standards suggest 30 to 35%. And so with only $640 left at the end of the month, we would basically have no room for emergencies, no retirement, no room for inflation, and it just wouldn't be smart. And so that's what this was able to come up with. And I think it was I like how black and white it was. Sometimes, all the times, and this is one of the things I hate most about GPT-5 is how performative it is. It's always trying to be so poetic and sound so flowy. I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. I just want it black and white, just like Gemini 3 has done for us here. So I love that. And that's probably one of my favorite things that I've noticed. Now, here's another thing that we asked it. I told it, hey, I am going to do a pizza party. It's going to be a 90s themed pizza party. I'm going to invite my friends. I want them to be able to RSVP, and I need an invite. And I want it to be pizza party themed with a pizza type poll where they can vote on what kind they want. And I want to be able to send it to them and have it be interactive. And so it worked for a couple of minutes. This one took probably, 3 or 4 minutes, but it did all of this coding and it put it all together. And then if you hit preview, here's what we got. So when you hit preview, what you could see was, I wish it would full screen it here. We'll do it this way, I suppose. Nah, all right, whatever. So what you'll see here is it says, and it's in 90s, kind of like Windows 98 style theme. So ultimate 90s pizza bash. It says free pizza, bring your Game Boy, no parents allowed. So kind of humorous. It gave the date, it gave the time, it gave the location, it gave what we're doing, and then it allows you to vote. So you can actually click on these. I'm going to vote for pizza. It says loading vote. You voted for pepperoni. And then I can click the RSVP. And then when I do that, it's not connected to anything right now. But the voting does work. So you can do quick little projects. So let's say you're doing an event at work, or you're doing, a webinar even. You can post something like this for people to engage with, as long as it's hosted somewhere on a platform somewhere they can engage, sign up, and it's just a quick, easy thing to do. Now, obviously, Gemini can go much more in depth with this, and that is what you would do on anti-gravity, which is kind of like Cursor or Windsurfer. I like it, honestly. I've really enjoyed my experience on it, and I'll do a whole different video on that because it's a lot more technical. But for easy stuff like this, you can do this. Now, one last thing here, and this is kind of copy related. And one of the things I discussed was that in a lot of these models and LLMs, copy is extremely performative. Like even in the way it just responds to you, it's extremely performative. And it's like one of those things that I just hate. And almost every time I prompt an LLM, I have a statement in there that says, don't speak performatively. And so I asked ChatGPT to help me out with something. I said, I need to text my friend to cancel plans for tonight. We've already rescheduled twice and I feel terrible, but I'm just mentally exhausted. Write me 3 different options. And then I gave the 3 different kind of variations, like honest but soft, kind of little bit of a lie, but still true, and then a compromise. And then here's what it did. So it gave us the 3 different options. It said, here are 3 different ways to handle this. And I really actually like all 3 ways. And they're not performative. Again, not performative. That's one of the things that I hate is the performance of AI. So it said, hey, I feel absolutely terrible about doing this since I don't know how to read, guys. Hey, I feel absolutely terrible doing this since we've already rescheduled, but I have to be honest. I'm completely running on empty today. I'm mentally fried and I know I won't be good company tonight. I love you and I really want to see you, but I need to just rot on my couch tonight to recharge. I'm so sorry. And so that's just like a raw and human thing, right? It's not fluff, it's true. And it's kind of like you can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at someone needing to recharge. And so it is honest but soft. It's not like, hey, I don't want to hang out with you. And then so you have the white lie approach. I'm upset to type this, but I think I'm coming down with something. So yeah, little lie. Had a pounding headache, migraine this afternoon. I need to lay in the dark, feel awful canceling, promise to make it up. So a little bit of a lie, still kind of like just a normal message. There's the compromise one. And I think this might be my favorite actually. So I'm the worst. Is there any way we can push to next Tuesday instead? Had the longest week. I'm at 1% battery. Don't want to hang out and be a zombie. If we do Tuesday, I'll bring some stuff. Miss you. I'm absolutely dead today. So I'm not mad at any of these. And I think copy-wise, Gemini 3 is going to crush. And if you actually go look at LM Arena, Gemini is at the top of the leaderboards for everything. So like these are 5 different real human use cases that you could use personally or in business, right? They're applicable to all different things. Let's say that your son plays basketball and you're a father, you want to help coach him and you just want to upload his jump shot into Gemini and see how you can help him dial his jump shot in. Hey, is his elbow out? Does his feet need to be planted more? Does he need to have a better angle in the elbow? What is it? And AI will be able to help you do that now. And then you have the trip planning. You can do that. Are you going on a business trip? Do you have a schedule you need to stick to for the day? Here's all my tasks. Same thing, business, personal. Then you have the budgeting, right? Business and personal. You budget on both sides. You have the whole tech aspect. So if you're doing personal projects, let's say you want to make a cool like newsletter style custom email. You can do that here. If you want to make a full-blown project, you can use anti-gravity. And then last, you have the copywriting aspect. And so I think this is going to just crush a copy. I'm actually excited for us to try using it for some VSLs, ads, emails, things like that, because I think it is absolutely going to crush. And I think like it understanding that this is going to be a text to a friend just naturally knew to respond in like a natural human kind of like way, not all this kind of like poetic rhythm bullshit that other companies do. Now, I'm excited to see this do a full rollout. This is obviously still only the preview. And so when Pro comes out, we're going to see a lot more capabilities. And I think we're going to be able to see some of that agentic stuff involved in there too. And so Pro plugged in to agents is going to be amazing. I already know it's going to be amazing. And I'm excited to plug this into some stuff. So we'll check back in as it rolls out live and they allow us to use more functionality and more tools. But I think this is going to be huge, both on a personal kind of assistant style usage and in business practicality and implementation scenario. So we'll check back in. Like I said, stay up to date. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything you want me to test out and try, and we'll get it done. Talk soon.